Welcome back, guys, to the cozy corner of the internet where we judge books before we judge their covers, which is probably like an absolute lie because honestly, who buys books that don't look nice? Today we are doing July reading wrap up, and only 1 month this time, but we don't actually have that many books this time because I know I said I read a lot, which I do, but just this month hasn't been the month where I read a lot. Yeah. Oh, speaking of pretty things, because you know at the start we spoke of pretty things. Anyway, speaking of pretty things, we need a moment for this outfit. And okay, so recently, when I say recently, I mean last year. This is such a squeaky chat. Last year I decided that I was going to start collecting Jane Austen books, and this is the first one I bought, which I bought last year. And I bought it in TK Maxx because I couldn't find them anywhere else. And recently I found the second one. Okay, they don't have an order, but they're 7, so I've got 2 now. Look how pretty they are. And this one matches my nails too. So this is the first one I bought, Sense and Sensibility, and it is just so nice. Wow. Okay. This is the second one I bought, Persuasion, and it's so cute. It's like purple and teal, and oh my god, it matches my necklace. Wow. Okay, and my glasses. Wow. Okay, right, back to July. So July, as I said, I haven't read that much, but they weren't that great books, so I was like, am I gonna record this today? Am I gonna try read another book before the end of the month and then finish on a good note? Oh my gosh, spoiler for what's ahead, we're not gonna finish on a good note. But it's gonna get better. Next month's gonna be better because I'm gonna be reading more books that I like, which we're gonna figure that out next month. That's a future me problem. Okay, so let's start off with the first book I read, which is Black Ties and White Lies. So this is part of a series. There's 3 books in that series. This followed Margot and Beck. And to be honest with you, I felt like that was a Wattpad book. And not like those Wattpad books that start off with the opening page being, I'm only 13 years old, guys, English isn't my first language, because when we have that, we know the book is going to be amazing, like 10 out of 10, 5 stars, 6 out of 5 stars, like we know that's going to be a good book. However, this one, it felt like a Wattpad book because, I don't know, it just moved way too quickly, and it was a bit repetitive in like the wording and the phrasing and stuff, but let's not go into too much detail with that, with how she writes, because English isn't my first language, and so it might just be me, but who knows. Anyway, so okay, so this book, I gave this book 2 stars because, which, oh my god, I think that was the lowest one. So we're actually starting on an this is like a cyclic repetition, forget that. Okay, again, I'm foreshadowing into the future, I'm spoiling everything. Okay, so I gave this book 2 stars, and it moves way too quickly. So he's so they follow Margot and Beck, and he's her ex's older brother, but which I did really like that. I did really like that he was her ex's older brother, because like if he messed you up, let's just skip to the next brother, which I thought was really cute. But within the first like day of seeing each other, I felt like that relationship was way too intense, way too quickly, and there was like consecutive chapters of like straight smut, which I'm usually fine with. I'm fine with smut, but not like chapter after chapter after chapter. Like, let's just give it a break. Let's take maybe 1 or 2 chapters, but not like 5 in a row. I can't remember if there was 5 in a row, but I'm pretty sure there was. And oh my god, their breakup, the thing that they had the breakup over, like, you know, the dilemma, I felt like that was the most stupid thing ever. Also, what I didn't like was the fact that she believed her ex, the one that screwed her over the first time, so she believes her ex over Beck, so the main male character, even though the ex, he cheated on her and more than once. Like, hello? Logic? Are you in the room with us? Like, seriously, is that what you're gonna do? So I ended up giving this book 2 stars because it just, I don't know, it, for me, not for me. That was the first book in the series. Then we have the second book in the series. Pretty Rings and Broken Things. There we go. I got the title a bit mixed up. This is now following the second best friend, Winnie. I think her full name was Winifred. Yeah, it was Winifred. And so the main male character is Archer. And this is an arranged marriage. So all of these were like arranged fake dating kind of things, and I did really like that. And they had an age gap of more than 10 years, which I'm crying. It's just such a good thing that I'm literally crying about it. Okay, so that was very, very cutesy. And Archer, so the male character, he was such a diva. Like, literally, what did he say? He was like, my family... Oh, I'm reading the wrong thing. Okay, he is such a diva because he was like, I'm your worst nightmare. Like, oh, yes. Okay. And in that moment, the smile that spread across my face when I read, my family has done some questionable things over the years. I could easily make this man disappear. That quite literally had me kicking my legs and screaming because I like that. He was literally on his knees for her. Like, that was great. That was literally great. However, there was no big crazy plot twist. Like, I was waiting for some like crazy thing because we didn't know what it was gonna be. We didn't even figure it out. So I was like waiting for this like crazy thing to like blow up in their faces. Nothing blew up in their faces. It's really like calm and settled. So I gave that book 3.5 stars. Only because of all the stuff before I said that, which brought it up to 3.5. I was gonna leave it at 2. I was gonna have it at 2.5 because of the fact that there was no like big crazy plot twist, but then I decided no, I'm gonna rate it 3.5 because I did like the arranged marriage, the 10 plus years age gap, like the fact that he was such a diva, the fact that he can make people disappear. Who said that? And yeah. Okay, next book, third book in the series. So now we're following Emma. So we've got Emma and the main male character, Preston. So I gave this one 3 stars. So it was quite a good book. I did really love their meet cute. I think I'm saying it correct. Meet cute or meet cute. Meet cute. I really like their meet cute. So she is an influencer and he is an NHL player, which I'm guessing is like American football. I really should have done no, do you know what? I say this, that I should have done my research, but this is not the first book I've read about NHL players. So, and every single time I assume it's American football. So I'm just going to keep assuming it's American football for the rest of my life. And I really like the fact that this girl, zero filter. She literally spoke what was on her mind, and yeah, she just wasn't shy. But she did question herself a bit, which is fine. Fake dating. So as I said, this whole series was arranged marriages and fake dating, which I really like. So yeah, there was nothing too major, nothing too plot twisty. It was like a good, calm read. Next book. Okay. This was the only dark romance book. Was it? Yes, it was the only dark romance book that I had read over this month, which is actually really like sad. I was sad about that. I did try to read I have started another dark romance book at the moment. But I have not finished it, so we are not including it for this month. Anyway, this one has been such an anticipated read for me. Skin of a Skinner by Avina St. Graves. I hope I'm saying this correctly. This was that book. that he so I've seen a lot on TikTok about this, and I've kind of like forgotten about it until I've started reading it, and I opened like the first, I read it on my Kindle, so I got onto the first page, and this is the book where he unalives the whole family while she's still asleep. I really like that. And then he's like, shh, it's okay, princess, go back to sleep. I love that. I really like that. Last chapter of the book, and he's already like, he's so gentle with her, like the way he just like everything, like he's literally unaliving people there, but like with her he's just so like, oh. And I guess that happens in every dark romance book, like they're always gentle with her, but it's just, it was the first chapter of this book, so to us it's like this just like started, but we actually find out that their relationship is a lot more than just like what we start with, and she's such a cutie patootie, and so is he. I did really like her, and he was obsessed with her, like completely obsessed with her, and he was head over heels for her. He was like all about looking after her. She was his whole universe. She was the sun and he was orbiting around her. Girl, yes. And so I gave this book 3.5 stars, and I wanted to give it 4 stars. However, it was no building up to something crazy. Everything that happened, it happened, like we have these all like tiny shocking events along the way, but it was like throughout the whole book, rather than like small shocking events and then we build up to something like crazy out of the blue. So like I feel like this month we just haven't had many plot twists, and I'm just not happy about that. I don't honestly, I don't know what I'm expecting, but I want some crazy plot twist. Like, I don't know, I don't even have an example at the top of my head, but I want something crazy. I was expecting so much for this book. I guess I did get quite a lot, but I was expecting more because of the stuff I've seen on TikTok, and I don't know, I think TikTok's just overhyped it up for me.
Guys, I'm literally sat here reading Skin of a Sinner right now, and I realised I've literally become Isabella. I'm that into the book. I'm literally her because I'm like with one person at this point.
Okay, next book I read, Overruled. So this one came out this month. It came out on the 1st of July. And so I was like, oh, this is a new read. I'm going to read it. So I read it. Obviously, if it's featured in this, obviously I read it. Anyway, this followed Ezra and Danica. And I thought this was quite interesting. So I love a good enemies to lovers. So here we are, enemies to lovers, and they're opposing lawyers in a law case. And this book, quite interesting, because usually you would have enemies start off as being enemies at the start of the book, like they hate each other, and then they would slowly build up to enemies with benefits or something, and then, or like enemies with some physical attraction, and then enemies to benefits, and then like not so enemies with benefits, and then, you know, like we have that gradual thing. Here we start off with enemies that have something going on, so we don't see this like previous physical attraction build up between them. We just jump straight into that. So it's a bit more fast forward with like the physical tension, and then it kind of unwinds from this like emotional journey that we have here, and their foreplay is literally banter. So they're in this room full of people, and they're both divorce lawyers. I think I should mention that they're both divorce lawyers, and so they're like on opposing teams, and like they're just like banter, this whole thing, like banter in the courtroom, foreplay in the courtroom with like a load of people behind them and a judge. This book, it definitely had some chemistry between the characters, but I don't feel like there was like this overwhelming romantic connection that I think could have been done. And also, I think this book is done in such a way that it's stretched out, but like in a good way. Like so much has happened since the start of the book, like literally so much. I ended up giving that book 3 stars because yeah, I gave it 3 stars because it was just like, it was good, but it could have been a bit better. Last book I read this month, which I actually finished this morning. I finished it today. I've been having a hard time getting through this book. Beginner's Luck by Kate Clayborn. This follows Ben and Yekaterina, and everyone calls her Kit. How would you say that name in English though? Because this is a Russian name. I think it's a Russian name. That's my sister's name actually. Ekaterina? I don't know. Anyway, everyone calls her Kit, and then the main male character, that's Ben. And so she's a scientist. That's her. And this is him. I didn't actually picture them looking like this, if I'm honest. Like, I think this cover is just so cute. I love the red. And I love like the little like, just, I don't know. But the people, I like, okay, I guess if we don't focus on the people there being on the cover is fine. But like, I don't really, I like imagining and making up my own characters based on this description rather than having them here. She's a scientist and he's working for this like big company. Anyway, he's trying to recruit her and I feel like she's quite a mysterious character at first. We don't know much detail on her past, and also his past I thought was quite interesting. It was more intriguing than hers, even though her past was still, we find her passed out gradually. However, his, I feel like, it's just more dumped on us, which is fine. But yeah, that's the difference between their pasts. This book, it was just way too realistic for me. Like, I don't know. I don't like fantasy. I don't like it when we have dragons flying and stuff and wizards, and that's just not for me. And it was just way too realistic. It was mundane. I'm literally reading about real life. She had a job, he had a job. Okay, the only thing that wasn't, I don't know, she won the lottery, which we find out right at the start of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything. We literally find it out on the first page. And like, personally, I read to get an escape from real life. Like, if I wanted real life, then I would just put my book down and go have a life and experience real life problems, and you know. But when I open a book, I'm like, well, I want to forget about real life and about real life problems and stuff. I just want to like lose myself in a book. But here they have real life problems, they have real life jobs, and then she goes after him. He did kind of redeem himself because he said that he was going to go after her, but I fully believe that actions speak louder than words. And he was silent. He was literally silent. No words, no, just words and no action. Which is exactly why I gave this book 2.5 stars. Unfortunately, we are ending it on such a sad note. 2.5 stars. However, as I said before, next book is a dark romance, the book I'm currently reading. So hopefully it should make things a bit more like cheerful. Yeah. Anyway, that is a wrap on this chapter. Thanks for listening, thanks for being here, and I will see you soon. Bye.